Now, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara will later this afternoon flag off the construction of the State Youth Resource Center. The center is beside the old airport road at the Greater Port Harcourt City Development Authority in Kwere local government area. The event is part of activities lined up to mark the one-year anniversary of Governor Fubara. The Rivers State Youth Resource Center, which is to be constructed in partnership with a private organization, is to serve as a business incubation center. Yesterday, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, while speaking at a banquet to celebrate the 57th anniversary of the creation of Rivers State and the first anniversary of his administration, said there are plans to destabilize the state. The governor also charged traditional rulers to work with security agencies to secure their domain.
Other ones that are here, you have shown us so much support. That a lot of people are planning one thing or the other, but because you are gentlemen and women of honor, never accepted to join in destroying what we have. For our royal fathers, you have a lot to do. You are the closest people to our people. Everybody who lives in every community, you know them. Sure that you take control of all your domain. Be very useful to our security agencies. We know they might be planning some things.
He also assured that in the next 6 months, all the zonal hospitals in the state will start functioning.
We have given ourselves a task that in the next 6 months, all our zonal hospitals, including the general hospitals in strategic LGAs, must function. Health care services in this state is not pretending. Our general hospital, what you call the BMH, might be functioning. What about the zonal hospital? What about the general hospital? Are we talking about our schools? Our focus is to take Rivers State from where we have met it to another level.
The governor appealed to the judiciary and the legislature to support the executive to move the state forward. The ceremony was attended by former Governor Peter Odili, former Deputy Governor Tele Ikuru, some former national leaders of the PDP, Chief Judge Simon Amadi, royal fathers, and many other dignitaries, including the Amayanabo of Okochiri, Ateke Tom, and Niger Delta activist Asari Dokobo. Correspondent Onyeka Chinwo's reports that the governor unveiled a book on the history of Rivers State, written by some intellectuals from Rivers and Bayelsa State. Moving on, the family of the motor spare parts dealer who died in police custody, Chukwudi Okereke, has refuted claims by the Rivers State Police Command that he was a kidnapper and a cultist. His brother Chibueze told a correspondent that an officer from the Octopus Strike Force had threatened his late brother before he was arrested while at his shop in Ikoku, Port Harcourt on January 11th. Narrating the events leading to the arrest, Mr. Chibueze told a correspondent that the threat was in retaliation for Chukwudi's persistent demand for the officer to repay him for his vehicle engine that had gone missing at the police station while they were handling a different matter. Mr. Chibueze said it took the intervention of the former Ikoku chairman and the former commander of the Octopus Strike Force for the officer to finally pay for the vehicle engine, but he says the officer didn't forget the matter.
Paid for it, he began to threaten my brother that who is my brother to collect his 250,000. That he's going to deal with him. Immediately, the former commander left and the new commander came. He brought his men and arrested my brother on the 11th. And he's telling us that my brother died on the 12th. Arrested him on the 12th on the 11th of January 2014. He was in front of his shop. They came and carried him. Someone who was very strong, held and hearty. And you're telling us that on the 12th he was failing somehow. And you took him to police clinic. For the police to tell us this act that my brother is involved in armed kidnapping and cultism, that's a fatal lie, a huge one at that. My brother, I know, can never do that.
Speaking on the matter, the chairman of civil society organization in Ifa George will express dissatisfaction with the police response and called for a joint autopsy to determine the true cause of Chukwudi Okereke's death.
The police cannot be the accuser, the prosecutor, and the judge in the matter. A critical analysis of the statement credited to the police PRO shows that the police have already condemned the man. Possibly, it is because they have concluded in their heart that the man is a kidnapper or an armed robber, even without taking him to court. The same police in the conference hall of the Commissioner of Police told us that this incident happened in D-Line. How come? In the statement credited to the police PRO, she's now saying that it happened at the Elecha exit of Port Harcourt. You can see the lies. As civil society in the state, we have lost confidence in the Nigerian police. We can confirm to you that Chukwudi was murdered.
Meanwhile, some residents of Port Harcourt said the Rivers State Police Command should conduct thorough investigation into the death of Chukwudi Okereke to avoid the recurrence of the tragic case involving late Chima Ikunado. They spoke on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire today.
I think we need to look into that matter. If actually he was a kidnapper, then the law should take up its course.
What are they trying to tell me? You accuse somebody to be a kidnapper, to be an armed robber, to be this and that, and you have already gathered people to give another information. Let law take its course.
Let's look into this matter very well. Police have started telling us another thing. See the issue of Chima Ikunado. They said that the diabetes for one way or the other killed the guy, whereas they thought sorry. They should remember that answers occur because of the brutalization and the innocent killing of.
I think it is easy for the police to just come up and begin to tell us that the young man was a terrorist, was a kidnapper and all of that. I think it would be better for the police to conduct proper investigation.
Now recall that a similar incident happened in 2019 wherein Chima Ikunado, a mechanic in the Ikoku axis of Port Harcourt, was arrested and detained on suspicions of armed robbery. Tragically, he died on December 29, 2019 while in police custody due to torture. Recall that the police had over the weekend alleged that the late Chukwudi, who died in the custody of the Octopus Strike Force unit, was a kidnapper and a cultist and was not tortured to death as claimed by his family. Still on security matters, police say they have arrested 4 soldiers and an NSCDC official who are part of a 13-man armed robbery gang that specializes in hijacking and diverting trailer loads of goods in Rivers State. In a statement, the police public relations officer in the state, Grace Iringikoko, said they were arrested after a distress call about burglars attempting to vandalize warehouses in the Elimbu axis. The statement said the police arrested 5 suspects who had been beaten by a mob and took them to the police station to the hospital. Now, she said the suspects confessed to engaging in criminality in River State. They include West Isaac, a corporal in the Nigerian Army serving in Delta State, Lance Corporal Abdul Musa, Lance Corporal Mbe Jeffrey, and Corporal Innocent Okwoli. And another suspect, Jabila Kamanga, also known as Kaka, an officer of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC 7 in Kaba, Kogi State. The 8 civilians include Olisa Emeka, George Obilo, Samson Wilson, Alfred Abeke, Barry John, Awolo Aliyu, Uche Nawale, and Alhaji Sofinu Haruna. The statement also said the gang had hijacked a trailer loaded with fertilizer valued at 25 million naira and in February a 40-foot container filled with imported clothing from China and another trailer carrying POP cement. She said the police have recovered the stolen POP cement and are working to retrieve the trailer load of fertilizers from its receiver. The statement, however, added that 3 of the affected soldiers have been dismissed by the Nigerian Army after the police handed them over. In other news, the Attorney General of the Federation AGF and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi has called for the scrapping of state electoral commissions. He said this at the national dialogue organized by the House of Representatives in Abuja yesterday. The AGF said the functions and powers of the state electoral commissions should be transferred to INEC because the State Independent Electoral Commission remains an appendage of the incumbent governor. But a former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, has kicked against clamors for INEC to take over the conduct of local government elections. Secondus, who spoke at an event in Port Harcourt argued that the commission is already overburdened. Prince Secondus said the national elections conducted by INEC are yet to be credible. He also advocated for the writing of a new constitution to reflect the desires of the citizens of the country. Still to come, Benue State House of Assembly repeals pension law for former governors' deputies. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Benue State House of Assembly has repealed the law for the maintenance of former elected governors of the state and their deputies. The bill to repeal the law was presented on Monday by the chairman of the House Standing Committee on Appointment, Public Service and Pension Matters, Douglas Akia. Mr. Akia said the law was not enacted in the interest of the state, which has lean resources to finance other pressing obligations. Recall that the bill was passed and assented to by former Governor Samuel Ortom towards the end of his administration. In other news, as the world marks Menstrual Hygiene Day today, some female residents of River State have shared their experiences amid the high cost of sanitary pads. 27-year-old single mother Anne, who lives in the Rumosi area of the state, says she resorts to alternatives like pieces of fabric whenever she is unable to afford sanitary pads. 29-year-old Blessing, who says she is currently unemployed, also resorts to pieces of wrapped cloth during her period. They spoke to our correspondent.
As I know, again, we need to buy pad. Here, we use wrapper, take do pad. When you use and finish, you wash them. When in dry, put them qua. If you use that one, come out. You use another one. You wash that one, come out. You use another one.
I can use wrapper. I can use pad. If you use wrapper, if you did not drop it, the thing stay or be long. The thing will not do anything. The thing will be okay. More than tissue, sir, because people that use tissue use to enter inside their private parts. If I see that the thing have soak, I'll just remove it and change.
Use wrapper now. They wash and they throw away. They wash them with hot water and no more. No, and they stain. And they feel free.
Also, some secondary school girls in Port Harcourt spoke on this.
As there's no money, so my mom usually gave me material, fabric. I'm not used to the pad. When I'm about to see my period, my son will start paying, but it won't show. The day it happened, I just stood up. My seatmate told me that there was something on my dress. I had to go to our administrator. She gave me a pad. I don't use the toilet there. I'm not comfortable there. I cannot use it. It's not clean.
One of my seatmates, there was a particular time she was saying, I used my water to wash her up. She used pads. She don't change it when she stays in school because there's no place to stay and change it. Toilet is clean, but they don't normally allow us to enter because there's no water to use.
In 2023, the then Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tarlin, said more than 37 million girls and women in Nigeria cannot afford menstrual hygiene product, limiting their ability to study, work, and live their lives. Gender policy advocate Debbie Effiong speaks on this.
When you go to the schools in the communities, you find the difficulty of being able to manage during menstruation. And most times they will tell you during menstruation they don't go to school. Not just because of the cramps, but because there's nothing to manage with. And we say if condoms are given free, why are pads not given free? Sex is a choice. Menstruation is not a choice. So why should the girls be off school because of menstruation? So if we are able to look at these and carry out the basic interventions, then society just moves.
She, however, called for investment in handmade reusable sanitary pads which schoolgirls can also learn to make by themselves to reduce period poverty.
Experts who have been trained on how to knit it would come train the girls on it. It's a simple sewing process with your needle and thread. So the materials are brought together. There's a special type of absorbent, and then with very clean clothing, and they are glued
resort to using alternatives like pieces of fabric instead of sanitary pads to prioritize proper disinfection after use. Speaking on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire, they encourage companies to include the distribution of sanitary pads to secondary school students as part of their corporate social responsibility initiatives.
So I want to advise those women happily using fabrics or pieces to do one or two. So please disinfect it after use. Disinfect it with Dettol and hot water, please. Don't come and tell us you wash it and keep it, use it again.
I've seen where companies are sharing condoms. Why can't we also imbibe this culture of also going to secondary schools to share sanitary pads to these young girls? For goodness sake, the girls' life matters, for goodness sake.
Menstrual Hygiene Day is marked on 28th May in line with the normal female 28-day menstrual cycle. The theme for this year is Together for a Period-Friendly World. In business, Senator Ned Nwoko has criticized the recent sack of 370 workers of the Central Bank of Nigeria and urged the Senate to investigate the purge. In entertainment, the Nollywood biopic Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, directed and produced by Bolanle Austin Peters, has grossed a total of 71 million naira in its opening week. And out to sports, Cristiano Ronaldo has set a new Saudi Pro League scoring record after scoring twice in Al Nassr's 4-2 win against Al Ittihad to reach 35 goals.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
The southern Gaza city of Rafah is under heavy bombardment after Israeli strikes killed dozens of people on Sunday. Local officials said at least 16 people were killed overnight, with no confirmation from the health ministry yet. The UN Security Council will hold an emergency meeting later on Tuesday to discuss Sunday's strike on Rafah. Meanwhile, Ireland, Norway and Spain will today formally recognize the state of Palestine.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Governor Fubara has charged traditional rulers on the security of their domain, set to flag off a youth resource center. Some Port Harcourt residents have called for proper investigation into the death of late spare parts dealer in police custody. The Borno State House of Assembly has repealed the pension law for former governors and deputies. And on the foreign scene, heavy bombardment have continued in the city of Rafah after Israeli strikes killed dozens of people. The news was edited by Onyekachi Nwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyali. Many thanks for listening.